All right, what is up, everybody? We are back in this new year now, with just continuing on with our Metallica album review series. And of course, last time we looked at the mega successful, massive hit album, the Black Album, that some have called kind of their sellout album or whatever. Um, I don't know if you call it selling out or just change it up. I mean, either way, you saw my thoughts on that. I kind of think it's a just a really solid, awesome album, especially in the deep cuts and everything. But the one where people really tend to say they're sellouts is this one right here, 1996, Load. And the album cover looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like lava and everything until you kind of realize that, hey, it actually is someone's load. The artist's load is semen mixed with cow blood. So, pretty freaking strange. I mean, despite that, does it look cool? Yeah, but really, really weird. Really weird choice. But yeah, they people kind of said these guys sold out. They cut their hair and everything, which, I mean, whatever. But they can, I kind of argue, though, if they were really selling out, they would have made the Black Album Part 2, pretty much just copy paste. But no, they really, this album's got a lot of kind of really bluesy and kind of southern metal kind of a twist to it at some parts. But anyways, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big album here. It did spawn some pretty big hits for the band. But definitely one of their more controversial albums. But we'll dive right into Ain't My Bitch. And I mean, it's a cool riff to open up. Definitely sounds like something that'd be like, okay, kind of an upbeat one, kind of on, maybe be on the Black Album, kind of in the mix there. Um, and I do like this one. Although, I mean, I think the lyrics are a little corny, especially when James is like, at one part when he's like, time to kiss your ass goodbye. Like, it's like, okay, dude. Like, which James is doing a lot more singing than, like, his typical kind of, thrash kind of shouting thing that, we had a fair amount of on the Black Album. But he did kind of do a lot of singing on that one as well with tracks like The Unforgiven, Nothing Else Matters, and all that. But, I think he sounds really good. And especially on some of these other tracks we'll get into. But Ain't My Bitch is, it's a decent track. Not one of my favorites or anything, but I mean, it fits, like, as a good opener for this thing. Then we go with 2 by 4 and then you really get that kind of southern metal kind of groove to it. I love the riff in this one. Definitely a strange, I mean, it doesn't sound like Metallica pre-chorus at all. Like, it's got kind of these, like, layered vocal kind of thing, kind of like an Alice in Chains kind of thing, with kind of the way the vocals, I mean, there was like a melody, or a harmony, the harmonization in the vocals here. I don't know if I can't tell if it's James layered up twice or somebody else, maybe Bob Rock or Jason Newsted doing the background, layering it over. I don't know, but it is kind of different. But I think it sounds kind of cool and kind of like just kind of drony and kind of kind of dark. But I mean, it is for most of this track. It is kind of got this kind of southern groove to it, southern metal groove to it that with a really kick ass and upbeat riff that I think is pretty damn good. Like I mean I think that's even better than the first track. And then we keep getting even better with the house that Jack built, and I've forgotten how much I really liked this one actually. Uh, I mean, man, it's James does, like, this is one of the tracks where he really shines vocally. I mean, 100%. And it's got a really cool kind of power riff, Lars coming in, kind of smashing them cymbals until it just really kicks in, and I love just like the build up here to this awesome chorus, that it ends up getting to, which is really hooky but yet really heavy, and just an awesome song. That's one of my favorites off here, 100%. And I forgot how damn good it is, but just that, whenever I was re-listening to this thing, right whenever that kind of opening, open doors and I walk inside, that kind of kicked in. I was like, okay, I remember. This one is freaking killer. Then we go with Until It Sleeps, which is kind of a darker, kind of slower one that's got a really cool kind of clean guitar tone on it, which these guys are awesome with their clean guitar tones. And another just really solid one. I mean, and I would even say, because I mean, this isn't a double, I mean, maybe it was a double album on vinyl, but I mean, this CD, I mean, but it looks like it's kind of divided like that, but, um, yeah, until it sleeps is another really good one. I always remember digging that one for its kind of darker nature and the really dark, clean guitar tones they have on here. Then we get a big hit with King Nothing, and man, you know that is just so good. That Jason Newsted coming in with that bass lick right off the bat that kind of carries the song all the way through, with just some really empowering, badass lyrics. Um, Man, what a killer track. I've always really liked that track. I've never had a problem with that one being, it being one of the hits and everything. This one sounds like definitely something that would be off the Black Album. So, and from what, I've gathered at least, most people can kind of be like, even the ones who like really dislike this album, definitely are like, okay, that's a pretty cool freaking song. Because it's just heavy as all get out. Just that riff, the lyrics are badass, and I'd say, I mean, it's a definite highlight. Even it being the hit, it's a highlight off here. I think it was a good choice for a single, very much so. That bass just, oh man, Jason Newsted kills it. Then we go with Hero of the Day, one of my least favorites off here. It also kind of has that kind of southern twist to it. Another one of those, because not all the tracks have that on here, but a good portion of them do. This one definitely does. Not a bad song, but it's kind of a softer one, and it kind of sounds like just kind of like a softer southern rock kind of tune to it. But it's one of my least favorites off here, but I do like it. Like, it's not bad at all, which I know that may be like, oh my god, you're not a Metallica fan. How could you like that? Well, I am a Metallica fan, and I think it's pretty cool that they're going out of their way and trying something different on this one. Then my favorite on here, just hands down, has got to be Bleeding Me. Oh my god. You talk about that riff again, man. And it's also got, I wouldn't say it's really got it's got maybe just a pinch of that little southern rock, southern metal twist to it. And I love just the kind of slow, brooding verses, till it just picks up in this just blast of a chorus that James shines vocally. Again, this is a heavy one, and it's a good 7-8 minute track. Just absolutely one of my favorites. It's always been a big favorite of mine amongst just in their discography, even though it is so different. Because I can't really picture this track on any of their other albums. Really, it's a very unique one. But that I love kind of the really dark, again, kind of like Until It Sleeps had, except even darker and even cooler of a riff, of a clean guitar toned riff that and I love playing on guitar too. Really fun stuff. Then we go on over to Cure, which another solid tune. Nothing too big to write home about for me. Kind of in the filler kind of area for me, but I mean, it's definitely a decent track. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is terrible. It's a solid one. So then Poor Twisted Me, another kind of more. This one's got a kind of a swing to it here. I dig this one. That's another one I forgot about. And I really like. It's got a cool riff, cool verses, chorus all the way through. Wouldn't say it's one of my favorites among all these. There's a lot of tracks here, but it's a good one for sure, and it was one I forgot about. Another top tier one for me right here. Wasting My Hate, dude. That one's got that kind of southern twist to it with that bluesy kind of groovy riff to it, and even just the melody of it's total bluesy kind of melody with it, and it starts off with that real clean and then just kicks in heavy. And this one is thrashier and faster. I wouldn't maybe call it a full-on thrash metal song, right? I think this is pretty far from being just a classic thrash album or anything. And he said, that's probably the closest thing you get to a thrash metal song on here is Wasting My Hate, and it's not really at all a thrash metal song. But just I love the lyrics on this one, and that melody will just get in your head, and it's the melody that kind of starts off a little bit slower in that clean tone, and then you hear it heavy, distorted, during the chorus, and man, it just gets me pumped. I've always loved that song, man. Wasting My Hate is kick ass. Love it. Then here's a big controversy. Mama Said, which I guess James obviously wrote about his mom, and it's pretty much a straight up like country rock song. And I don't really like country music. I don't like it's the bare minimum of country, and it would have to be old country for me to even really appreciate and dig a little bit. But even then, I'm not going out of my way to listen to it. But for whatever reason, here I am kind of digging this song. I know it's crazy. Like, I don't, but there's something about it. I just like the verses and kind of the story it tells, and it was clearly a powerful track, James wrote, and I like a little bit of a slide guitar, sometimes. But again, I mean, I know it's strange that I don't even know how the hell it would make sense for me to like the song, since I'm not really a country music guy. But here I am digging it, and I like the chorus. It's hooky, and I get why most people would hate that. I really do. Like, honestly, because especially at the time, if like today, if Metallica dropped that as a single, I'd be like, what the hell are y'all doing? I'd be like, what is going on here? Because this was a single. But, considering, in retrospect, I think it's a pretty cool tune. And again, tells a really cool story. And I love the chorus. It's got a lot of emotion behind it. Probably not one of my, top favorites off here by any means, but I do like that. And it's just, and I know I'm probably going to get some shit for that. But that's all right. I totally get where people wouldn't like it. And, again, I just want to reiterate, I am not a country music fan at all, really. But I like Mama Said. It's a pretty cool tune. Then we go on to Thorn Within. Solid stuff right there as well. Another one I did forget about, that I was like, man, this one's kicking ass too. But not among my favorites. Then we go with Ronnie. This one's got a total southern rock, southern metal vibe to it with that riff. I love playing that riff on guitar. It's really fun. And just I love the bends and that on that main riff that kind of carries this on. Another one that kind of tells a story. And it's just, it'll get you kind of, banging your head along with that groovy riff, man. It's just, that's one of my favorites, absolutely, on here. Very different from your typical Metallica song, but one I absolutely love. And like I said, I even figured out, how to play a guitar, because I was like, that's such a sick, catchy freaking riff. And I love the chorus, how it's delivered and everything. Very, very cool, and a hidden gem of a tune. Close it out with another big, 8 or 9 minute one, The Outlaw Torn. My man, forgot how freaking incredible this track was. And it's in my top 2 or 3 tracks for this whole album. Probably second favorite, just right behind Bleeding Me, I'd probably say. And my God, that's just a heavy hitting one. All throughout. It's got a cool breakdown in it. That one I don't really see, a lot of people having a lot problems with, because that is just a killer freaking tune. James kills it vocally. That riff that kind of drives this thing home is absolutely incredible. It's got a lot of cool segments to it. It's not like a, progressive tune, like epic, kind of and not, there are some elements to it. Same with Bleeding Me. Those 2 big lengthy ones on here, they're not straight up progressive, borderline progressive metal tunes, for example, the instrumental Orion or stuff like that, with lots of time changes and stuff going on. They're just lengthy and just drive a point home and just have these awesome riffs. especially the Outlaw Torn here, that just makes it just an absolute favorite off here. The wah wah pedal solo, one of my favorite Kirk Hammett solos now, man. I absolutely killed it. Just it's like a monster, man, just squealing and at you. Absolutely incredible song. And, that wraps up this album right here. And I know it, a lot of people cannot stand this thing and call it the sellout album. But you know what, man? I've just never really had a problem with it. I've always I'm not trying to just say it to be, contrary to, to the main opinion here. I just genuinely have always really liked this album. Maybe it's because I had the little DVD of the collection of like their music videos when I was a kid, and it had like some stuff from here that I liked, like King Nothing, and I don't know, but either way, I just really dig that they went for something really different, and I feel like that maybe, just maybe, as time goes on, this may end up growing on some people, and I for people who maybe cannot stand this or have an opinion about it, maybe haven't heard it in forever, I'd highly suggest giving it another listen and just going into it, knowing, okay, this is not your typical Metallica record. It's something else. And then I think you might find some enjoyment in it. If you don't, hey, I feel you. I totally can get why someone would hate this album, in fact, because of a lot of the just very different choices they went with this. But to me, I think this is a fantastic album, and I've never had a problem with it. I don't dislike any of the songs on here. Even Mama Said, I dig that one. You heard it here. I know it's crazy, but I'm all about Load. Not all about the dude's Load who did that on the album cover, but I'm about this album Load, right? But anyways, guys, yeah, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this thing down there. I know we're probably gonna get a lot of mixed reception on that. And maybe if you guys like any of the songs, like for you guys who don't like this album, is there any of these that kind of stick out to you? Like some of the heavier ones like King Nothing or The Outlaw Torn or anything that y'all kind of dig? I'd love to, spark some of that conversation going down there. Very interesting and very controversial and interesting album for sure. But yeah, guys, stay tuned for next time because we'll be in this review series taking a look at Reload, which instead of somebody's load, it's got his piss mixed in with cow blood. Real creative, man. It looks very similar to this, but album cover wise. But we'll be taking a look at that one. I think that one just came out a year after this one. It was like the stuff that was gonna be on Load or something, but like that didn't quite make it, so they released it on that, something like that. So we'll be taking a look at that, and it's an official studio release. It's not like a, and also stay tuned because I'm gonna try Saturday to do the big Cinnabite ranking video, the updated Cinnabite ranking video. I did forget about it there for a while with the holidays and stuff like last month and everything, but I've not forgot about it now. I've got it in my head, and I've been working on that list and everything, so we're going to get that out to y'all soon. So stay tuned for that. Got more wrestling reviews coming up. I know Wrestle Kingdom happened today, but I've stayed away from a lot of spoilers somehow because I'm going to try to watch it this weekend and everything. So, but anyways, guys, yeah, just let's talk about Load down there. And stay tuned for next time. We'll be talking about Reload. And like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks, guys.